Well, good afternoon. I am so excited to be here with you again today. If it is 12 noon on Tuesday, you got it. Yes, it's Thinking Tuesday. And I'm just honored to be here again with you to share some of my thoughts about how we think. And that's why it's called Thinking Tuesday. So you got it. It is Thinking Tuesday. We're going to spend a few minutes just thinking about our thoughts, how they're serving us, and what, if anything, do we need to change. We should never be ashamed or afraid of changing. We're all enjoying the summer, a time of year when we try to get away and intentionally have some fun because we work hard, right? We put work aside and we take some time to rest and relax and replenish. The three R's: rest, relax, and replenish. Well, let's just say that Thinking Tuesday is just like that. We take some time intentionally at noon on Tuesday to reflect, to check in with our mindset. How is it serving or not serving us? What thoughts are guiding our behavior? What thoughts are dictating how we are feeling? That's what Thinking Tuesday is about. As you know, or you may not know if you're joining for the first time, in keeping with our philosophy that our thoughts drive our feelings and that our feelings drive our actions, we have adopted the slogan, your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds, and you can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. Thinking Tuesday is about growing a positive mindset and allowing that mindset to guide you in all that you do. In all that you do. Last week, I shared a quote by James Allen, one of my favorite authors, which I want to discuss a little bit more today. He stated, man's mind may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated and allowed to run wild. Man's mind may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. And I've been thinking more about this with greater intention and paying more attention to what thoughts I allow to take up space in my mind. Which thoughts am I cultivating? And which ones do I need to nip in the bud before they begin to run wild? Because they're like weeds. If you know weeds, and especially in this hot weather, just look outside and see how the weeds are thriving. They love this hot weather. We want to nip them in the bud before they get a foothold in our gardens, in our yards. So, especially during these times of extraordinary challenges, because if we're not facing them, we know someone who is. The challenges that have been brought on by the pandemic that most of us have never experienced before and hopefully will never experience again. The stress that it's placed on relationships. I've had so many people call me because of the stresses in their relationships. Some of them were there before, but they've just been heightened as a result of what's going on that's caused by the pandemic. The loss of jobs, the loss of businesses, and to think about the loss of homes due to natural disasters, the fires and the floods, and all the feelings of uncertainty of what tomorrow may bring. The rise in violence when people don't have peace, when they're anxious, when they're uncertain. It leads to violence, unfortunately. At least that's one of the results. And then the contentious political environment does not help either. All of these issues have led to heightened feelings of anxiety. And our thoughts have been running wild. So we want to pause for a moment, and that's what Thinking Tuesday is about, pausing for a moment and rein in those thoughts that have been causing us to feel anxious. How do we deal with those moments of anxiety? Yes, we can turn to a professional, a therapist, a coach, a pastor, or a good friend. But we have to find some way to rein in those thoughts, because you still have the choice of how you weather those storms. We still have the choice. Ultimately, the choice is ours. The control is still within us, and that's great news. We don't have to look for it outside. We look for professional help, but ultimately we have to use what we learn to help ourselves. And that starts with how we think. How we choose to manage those thoughts about the challenges that we face is still and will always, always be in your control. And this is not intended to minimize the severe hardship that we may face, because some of these challenges are really, really, really very hard. But in facing these challenges, we often find out more about ourselves. And that is always great news, when we can discover more about ourselves, more about our capacity for resilience than we were ever aware of. We have more within us than we even realize. And that's why I said last week also that if we do not go within, we'll go without. We have to tap in to what's going on with us, within us. Get guidance if you need. I'm sure you're wondering about some of those people that we hear or we see on TV maybe, who have lost most or all that they have. And they can still be grateful in the midst of the pain and the hardship of losing their homes to fires, floods, losing jobs. When we hear them say, we will rebuild, in the face of all that hardship, they say, we will rebuild. What confidence! That is confidence. What makes them say that? What makes them say that? How can they even utter those words? The unimaginable tragedies and challenges that they're facing, in spite of that, they say, we will rebuild. Many of them call on their faith, sometimes for the first time in a very real way. Some just feel that giving up is not an option. They have that steel temperament. But what do they all have in common? What do they all have in common? They all have in common their way of thinking and their willingness to persevere despite what might seem to be insurmountable odds. It's their thinking that drives them to say, we will rebuild. That goes back to last week's message that when I shared that the peace you seek is already within you. You are fully resourced to be, do, and have all you need. You just have to allow yourself some time to reflect, to tap into your resources, guided by someone who's trained to do that, or with a very helpful friend. In my practice, I help people to find doors when they don't see any. And when they find the door, I help them to open the door. And when they open the door, I help them to walk through that door and to get on the other side of that challenge and to appreciate what they have learned or what they are learning about themselves, who they're becoming, and how to continue to cultivate and reuse those inner resources that they're finding so that they can use them in facing new challenges. But only now, after facing those challenges, now they do so with more confidence, with more hope, because they've found success. And we know that we love success. If we're successful at something, then we're going to try to do it again. So they're building on those successes. They're learning more about themselves. They're feeling more confident. They're developing that can-do attitude. They realize that the peace that they're seeking is already within them. That there's more to them than they ever know in this lifetime, but they keep striving. They keep looking. They keep searching. They remain open to self-discovery. That's what we all have in common. Those people who say they will rebuild all have what we have. So your mindset is so very important. I want to leave you with these quotes because I think they're very helpful. And if you can use them and remember them, turn to them when you find yourself challenged. The first one is by Roger Crawford. And he says, being challenged in life is inevitable. No one says that life is going to be challenge-free. Being challenged in life is inevitable, but defeated is optional. It's optional. It might seem insurmountable, but it's optional for us to feel defeated or to be defeated. And the second quote is that life is 10% of what happens to you because things will happen to us, but 90% of how you react. And if you remember that our thinking drive our feelings and our feelings drive our actions, so ultimately it's how we react. But the first thing, the driver of how we react, is our thinking. So remember that you have more than you realize. You're fully resourced. Spend some time journaling your thoughts, talking to someone about your thoughts, trying to tap into what you already have within you. So I want to encourage you, as I usually do, to reach out to me through my website, drcherylburton.com. I would love to coach you through any challenges you might be facing. You might be harboring some self-limiting beliefs that's keeping you from attaining the life you desire. You deserve more. And there is a way that you can have more. There's a way that you can be more. Let's talk. Contact me for a complimentary consultation. And this doesn't only go for individual, it goes for businesses and organizations, because many times you feel that you're not functioning at your utmost, that there's more that your organization or that your business can do, but you're stuck. Reach out to me, drcherylburton.com, and I'll be glad to offer you a complimentary consultation. While you're there, just look and see the other programs and services that I offer in my coaching and training business. You can also book me to speak at your events. And feel free, as I always encourage you, to share this with someone who may benefit from it. When you find something that you like, something that's of value to you, you want to share it with others. You can view my past messages for Thinking Tuesday on my YouTube channel, Cheryl Burton Thinking Tuesday. and subscribe to the channel while you're there so that I can continue bringing these messages to you. I look forward to seeing you next week at noon on Thinking Tuesday for another message of encouragement. So I thank you for listening. Take care for now and stay cool. It's very hot out there for those of you who live in areas where we're having these record heat waves. So take care, and I look forward to meeting you here again next Tuesday at noon for Thinking Tuesday. Take care. Bye for now.